uppercut, uppercut, sonic boom! Well, hello there, human to be earthlings, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and if you're lucky enough indeed to be doing it too, welcome back to channel. I'm Bushka, and today's video is all about assaulting, how to push a little bit more safely into houses. Some of the mistakes you're making, some of the mistakes you can stop making, some of the tricks and the tips that I can show you that will improve the way you go into houses. And the reason I'm thinking about this right now is over the past week or two, I've made some massive errors doing this. And I wanted to correct them and think about it as a best practice approach so you can get better at the game and win more of these little engagements. Now, the first thing you're going to notice in this engagement, and I'll show you a slowed down version of this in another engagement, is I went halfway up the stairs. Now, this is a very simple one because there's nowhere else for them to come out of. There's only that room there and that room there, and it's easy to cover off on both those entries and exit areas. If you do this where you go a little bit halfway up the stairs and just quickly duck back, you can take a look around without actually exposing yourself too much, and then you can see people like that, which allows you to clear them very, very quickly. The static idea is not great. There's actually a decent way to defend those stairs. If you've only got a shotgun, you stand at the top of them or around the top of them, moving slightly, having overlook on the stairs. You don't want to be moved right back from them and allow someone to take control of a point where they can reset a desync. Let's talk about that, really. And this is a huge part of assaulting. You'll see how I'm very ready all the time to duck back behind doorways, and I'm always getting ready to peek back around corners. I'm going to show you a couple of clips here, and it's now part of my gameplay, and you should make it part of yours as well. Third-party peeking is a horrible thing. I hate it. FPP, in my opinion, is a much more skillful part of the game, but it exists, and while it exists, we should probably learn to do it in some degree that helps us. When you do this, you are basically resetting an engagement by pulling back around a corner. The way desync works is that you don't appear on the enemy's screen until your signal gets to the server. So if you constantly come out from behind corners, third-party spray and peek, then you will often kill people without taking damage back. And you can repeat this ad nauseum until they get the message by going back to the lobby. This is a key to any kind of assault. If you want to push up into an area like this, you really want to be able to change your angles and make it a situation where you're always coming out from cover to take the shot, and they're always like available for you to do that. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this after this clip here. This is a very stock standard, very stock standard kind of assault. You're going to see that I'm going to tell Mr. Ouija to stop and let me go first because I got the most hit points. And that is just one of the things we do. If you are assaulting and you're in a duo and one of you is hurting, then the other guy should go. And you should always be assaulting on each other's shoulder. Watch how I enter this room too. When you have got like a lot of different places that you've got to cover off on, you run out and you have a look around. If you don't see something and you know someone is there, get back in because they can see you. And it's really scary. And then you assault together. So that gave Mr. Ouija an opportunity to cover me. That guy had to expose himself to come out and get me, and as it gets me up. So we've covered off on resetting desync, how you can peek a little bit up the stairs, where you should be if you are actually covering. Let's talk, the two-man game. There's a guy in there. Ganksy is with me this time. It's not Mr. Ouija. Ganksy is going to push through here with me. And I'm going to go and push into the room with him on my shoulder. And the guy is going to be hiding. Now, this is massive. This is a huge part of assaulting. There are just too many areas to cover. He is behind that partition directly ahead of me. As I come in, I'm going to slow this down. The guy comes out to get me, but my partner is on my shoulder and we get the clear. If you are doing this alone, it is very, very dangerous to push into a house in TPP where you have to cover off on, say, 3 different angles. He could have been on my right, he could have been straight ahead, he could have been behind me. And you can be fooled by sound in those situations. I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about here, how sound can absolutely fool you. You're going to see footsteps on the top right of the screen on my mini-map, and I'm going to pause it for just a second. You'll see the footsteps are there. Now, if I was to literally take where those footsteps are, I would think that they were somewhere around this corner here. But I'm not certain. In my head, though, I feel that's where they are. So I jump out, and I look left. And the guy stopped moving ages ago. And I assumed. And when you expose yourself like that and you're pushing into an area that is not safe, it fools you. The sound fools you. You can hear this is going to happen again. The sound I'm hearing there is coming from directly ahead of me. But unbeknownst to me, that is another person in the house next door. The real danger is right there. Like, even experienced people like me that have been going for 16 seasons can make mistakes with sound. And this is why that particular instance there prompted a whole different approach to me when I'm pushing into these 2 stacks. Watch this. Like, you're going to see me as soon as I come in. Like, watch the first place I check off on. It's hilarious. It is right there. I always check there now because of that guy. And I can hear the guy upstairs. And as I look outside, I'm trusting my eyes now a lot. See that door? The door upstairs on the right is open. When I start pushing in here, the door is shut. So I know he's behind the door. And that's a really easy clear for me. And being able to just trust what you can see rather than what you're assuming makes these kind of things possible. Here we go again, pushing into an area where there's lots. Oh, look at every door. Look at every door. Like scanning everywhere. And I'm then going to resync I'm going to reset the desync. See this? I'm firing, trying to get this guy to come out. And then we come back and we make it a strafe out and spray. Like, watch. This is something you've got to put in your gameplay. You've got to come out. That tells the server where I am. Tells him, and then it resets it so he can't see me on the server again, and then we push. FPP is so much better in my opinion because it's always about your skill versus the other guy's skill. No one gets to see anyone unless they physically come out and push. It's just hard to get a game in the FPPQ, even though it is just a much tougher version of the game. And it means that you can peek corners and actually look for people, and they can't just see that you're there. You'll see there's a guy up here on the roof, and I've got to physically be out there. I can't just be safe behind these boxes and then spray out when I want to. And this leads us to the obvious. If you're playing TPP, don't just go charging up a set of stairs without looking. Unless you've got a massive, massive advantage and you've got someone on your shoulder and you're feeling really, really safe, you always want to peek the stairs. Because if I just ran around this corner and ran up these stairs, this guy would have had a field day. But no, he's silly enough to stand on top of the landing and be visible when he doesn't have to be visible in TPP, then we're going to take advantage of that. This is really obvious when you're pushing people that are actually running away from you. Like, you get an advantage. So you've hit a guy and you want to run after him. The quickest way in is through that window. The quickest way in is to jump through that window. Now, I lost the footage, but I have footage of me jumping through that window and getting killed, because what happens is what happens to this guy here. He hits me, takes half my health, thinks he's going to go over here and absolutely nail me. And all that happens is I just wait and strafe out, because TPP is all about the guy who is being pushed on having the advantage. Like, this guy doesn't even get another hit in. I'm pre-firing, I'm strafing, body, headshot, all over. Let's cut back to our little workout on the window. And rather than going through the window, I now go over here. I see footsteps in the corner. I jump, reset while he's getting a heal on. They might not have a gun when they go in through that window, but I've had guys pick up Uzis in different rooms, and I chase them through a window, and then they strafe out from behind a corner, and you're dead in 0.25 of a second. And when you're on 120 ping, like I am here, that's like long enough for my signal to get to the server and back. I don't even see it happening. This is another great example of duos play. You can see Ganxi is up there. I'm going to go middle of the assault and hold back here and just hold the long angle. This is called holding an angle, right? And this guy's now going to push up to try and save his mate. He's now between two people. The third member of that squad is down the end. He's going to get shocked by both me and Ganxi at the same time. These are great angles to hold. Really good angles to hold. We're going to finish with one little episode on boot camp. Now, this is a very long clip. I think it's worth looking at because it shows you I'm normally very, very aggressive. There's people who play this game who are very, very passive. This is one of those guys. He is on the roof of that building up ahead, directly ahead. I'm going to use that opportunity to move forward. He's been waiting there for ages. Just for ages. Okay? And this is the kind of sweat that you're going to be dealing with. You're going to have guys that just won't engage you until they absolutely have a great opportunity to clear you without you clearing them, without you even getting a shot off on them. And that's pretty standard. And they'll also use all kind of tactics. This guy's going to bot call his ass off. I am looting my way through this building. I'm not particularly worried if he comes and turns up. I'll have a gunfight with him. If he doesn't come and turn up, I won't have a gunfight with him. He's going to go around the entire perimeter of boot camp, all the way around to the other side of the building that I'm in, stand on the roof, and start tap firing like he's a bot. And the problem is, I've done this wrong so many times before that I'm quite comfortable when someone is super hot, sweaty like this, someone who is just waiting on a corner of a boot camp behind a hay bale for 5 minutes for me to turn up. When they are like that, I will get just as sweaty back because I feel like, hear this? There's footsteps on the other side, right? And I feel like that's got to be him. Like, he's already shown me how much he cares about winning this game. And it's early season. I think this was the opening day of the season. So he absolutely is just waiting. Waiting. There's the bot calls. There's the Gren. Yeah, that's him all right. And I'm like, this guy is just so hardcore about this that I'm just going to wait downstairs for him. And I'm going to use TPP peeking as a way of actually keeping a hold of this. And this is very, very simple. This is how you should make sure, like, you're covering off on the exits where he can come in from. I'm listening for when he goes up or when he goes down. He's jumped onto the floor above me. He knows where I am. He's right there. He's going to peek out and try and get me to engage him. But he's actually, now he's changed back around. This is crazy, hey? Like, now I'm the sweaty grub. But still, this is a good example of how the games are like 20 minutes long, 25 minutes long. We can't always win them in the first 10 seconds of an engagement. And when that happens and you have to draw it out, make sure you use it to your advantage. And I've got a lot of meds. I'm quite happy to have a heal off here. He's coming back. I'm going to wait till I hear the pin on the grenade. That's me. I'm in. You got a grenade in your hand? That suits me. PUBG Mobile is a sweaty hot mess. Gunfights like that, why I much prefer FPP than TPP, because I got rewarded for being super passive there. And I've got to be honest, I was really ticked off at that guy for how hard he'd camped that corner building of boot camp. I would normally have pushed that a lot harder. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. All about assaulting houses. Let me know in the comments below what kind of content you're looking for. And just otherwise, look after yourselves. Subscribe to the channel. Share the videos and stay safe on the battlefield. Bye for now.